When Vlad, the voivode of Wallachia, came before Sultan Murad II in the Ottoman palace, he brought his 2 young sons with him. This was not a visit, it was a guarantee. Vlad and his brother Radu were taken from the palace as the price of their father's loyalty and sent to the dungeons of Tokat Castle. Radu adapted. Vlad learned how to stare into darkness. Days in the dungeon were silent, but nights were alive. Rats crawled out from between the stone walls, slipped through chains, climbed over the boy's feet. One night, a guard saw something in Vlad's hand, a tiny burning matchstick. Vlad cornered a rat, slowly brought the flame closer. The rat did not escape. Vlad did not let it. He watched it die in fire. The guard screamed in horror. Vlad lifted his head and said only this: if life ends too quickly, its value is never understood. From that day on, the guards looked at him differently. The child in the dungeon was no longer a child. Years later, in a madrasa in Edirne, Vlad met another boy. His name was Mehmed. Both were silent. Both observed. They became blood brothers. But their paths were never the same. Mehmed learned how to build a state, while Vlad learned how fear is created. When Mehmed ascended the Ottoman throne, he sent Vlad to Wallachia as voivode, as a balance. But Vlad had not forgotten the betrayal of the boyars. He organized a feast, invited them all, then impaled every one of them, slowly. Because to Vlad, death was not punishment. It was a lesson. That is why they called him the Impaler. In Romanian, Țepeș. Then he knocked on the doors of the papacy. He was welcomed as a crusader hero. But the same Vlad stood before Ottoman envoys one day. The envoys refused to bow their heads. In our faith, the head remains uncovered, they said. Vlad smiled. Then let it remain open forever. And he had their helmets nailed into their heads. From that moment on, his name was no longer only Țepeș. In Europe, they began to call him Dracula, the son of the dragon. But among the people, another meaning was whispered. The devil himself. He stopped sending tribute to the Ottomans. He raided Giurgiu fortress. 300 people were impaled. Then other fortresses. Then an entire plain. Forests of stakes rose. The stench of rotting bodies lingered for days. Soldiers could not approach. Horses panicked. People prayed. When word reached the Sultan, campaigns were halted because this was no longer a war. This was fear itself. In the end, Vlad stood alone. He wrote letters to the Hungarian king, portraying himself as a hero. But history does not remember heroes. It remembers the marks they leave behind. When Vlad Țepeș died, even his grave was uncertain. But his name remained in the darkness, among the stakes, and in the minds of men with one question. If a man learns to rule through fear, how long does it take before he becomes a monster? His end was silent. His head was cut off. And as a warning, it was displayed in the streets of the Ottoman Empire.